So, hi everyone, we have a new client here in front of us. So, the nails are peeling, and the reason why they are peeling is because they are damaged from semi-permanent or hybrid iron polish, or gel polish in English. You can see the marks here from the gel polish. So, initially I thought that Mavala would be helpful because when nails are peeling like this, Mavala is actually very, very helpful. But the client is telling me that normally her nails are not doing that. So normally they're quite healthy and they're not peeling. So I would not recommend any hardeners. So this just has to grow out. What I would recommend for these nails is to do weekly warm oil soaks. And I'm gonna list the video that I did about the warm oil soaks in the description box. And the reason why is that the warm oil soaks are going to protect the nails. So they're not going to fix them because unfortunately, when the nail is damaged and it's overfiled, there is nothing that you can do to fix it. So it just has to grow out. So you can see there's this much growth. So this is what, like 2 months, 6 weeks, 2 months, something like that. It's gonna take another probably 2 months until this grows out. So that's why it's so important to be very, very gentle on the nails, because once there is damage, there is really not much we can do. But we can still do a very nice manicure. I'm gonna do like a clear nail polish because sadly the issue is when the nails are peeling, the polish will stick to the nail, but when the flakes off, it's going to take polish with it and it's pointless. So I'm gonna do a dry manicure and remove the little pieces of polish. So some of the nails are quite short, so I'm going to match. When the nails are not, it's quite normal that the shape isn't the same. So what I try to do the shape like in the middle. So this nail is a little bit more square, this one is a little bit more oval. So I try to kind of do in between. And that's what, in my opinion, looks the best. Especially when the nails are shorter, because there's only so much we can do. So sometimes aiming for too much perfection is not my goal. Improvement is key. I'm wiping the nails with acetone because acetone lets me see actually what's going on with the skin, so I see what the living skin is and what the cuticle is. So it doesn't look pretty, but it's very, very helpful for me when I'm working. Okay, so now we're gonna push back the living skin, and I'm going to do a dry manicure. So what I'm doing now is I am pushing back the living skin, the proximal nail fold, which exposes the cuticle. So I'm not pushing back the cuticle. So I'm doing this kind of lightly. I'm not trying to push everything back. I'm trying to push back, like I said, the living skin, and what you see here, that white part, that's cuticle. And very often people think that both parts are cuticle, but it's not. And people cut the wrong thing, thinking it's a cuticle. So I'm going to use electric file on a very low speed to smooth the little calluses on the side a little bit and to remove the cuticle. I suggest not doing this if you're not very skilled with e-file, because you can very easily put too much pressure and file the nail. But I've been doing this for 20 years, so I developed a very, very light touch. Doing nails more than 20 years, but working with e-file for 20 years. See this? So what I'm doing now is I'm exfoliating the hard little pieces. So I'm not trying to remove dry skin, because dry skin cannot be fixed by filing it. The dry skin needs to be protected, but really the client doesn't have dry skin. It just has a little bit of calluses, a little callus on the side, which is completely normal. And the key is not to like file it to high heaven, it's just to kind of smooth it and make it look nice and pretty. So now I'm going to very, very lightly. So this, I love the e-file for this because it gives me allows me for precision. I can just touch the area to remove it without hitting the nail. Okay, this finger always has a little bit more callus from like writing and using it. I like to bevel the free edge a little bit so it's smoother. And now the white part, cuticle. Little taps. You can definitely do this with the cuticle remover, but in this case, because I was going to remove the pieces of gel polish anyway, and decided to do a dry manicure. Many times what people do is they buff the whole surface to remove the peeling parts, but that is a little risky because when you are filing that whole area, you're gonna overfile, probably you're gonna overlap with the buffer and you're gonna overfile the good nail, and that leads to more peeling and more damaged nails. So sometimes it's just better to kind of suffer through it a little bit and let it grow out than try to correct it. I mean, with the machine, I could just touch up the free edge here, the little flake. But this is not something I would recommend that you do at home by yourself because you can easily overdo it. See, I'm staying on that area and I'm very, very gentle. So this is how it can be done, but this is it. I'm not gonna do more because I don't want to hurt the nail around it. snip this little piece. Just smooth it very, very lightly. It's not an open cut, so I can do this just lightly. And it has to heal. I have many people asking about these blocks, and this is what I do. So these are from Cuccio. I have a link in the description, and then I just cut them this way. So they have 3 sides. These 2 are much softer. So this is like 240 grit or something. I cut it this side, this way. So these are really, really fine. And I'm just going to smooth the cuticle area and just smooth at the end. That's it. You have to be very, very careful with these buffer blocks because you can easily overfile the nail. Sometimes what I do is I use it once when client comes in for a manicure, and then I do, because you kind of need to in order for the nail polish or gel polish to stick, but you don't have to do it all the time. So meaning if you remove the shine from the surface, when you do the manicure 2 weeks later or something, when you try to remove the surface again, you're gonna damage the nail because it's the same nail being filed all the time. So then what I do is just I touch up the growth area, and that's it. But we're doing this for the first time, and I'm being gentle, so I feel this is going to be safe. Of course, it makes a difference when you use a very light pressure as opposed to like really putting, like this is actually a buffer side. So if you're doing this, there's a big difference between doing this and doing this, right? My e-file is set to like 5,000 RPM, so this is really slow, as you can hear. And yeah, this was like 3,000 RPM. It's really, really slow. Okay, now I'm gonna wipe them with alcohol. And I don't do the cream and oil first because it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, others do it that way, that's fine too. Everybody has their own technique. But right now, I don't have a lot of, obviously, oil to remove, so it's just easier to do it this way. And then I put the oil and the cream after. We're gonna go fancy. We're gonna go with the Chanel and then this one. Is it okay? It's not gonna be pink. It has a very nice brush for Chanel. I hope they changed their brushes and the polishes to this brush. It's excellent. So this is also a ridge filler. I mean, it's not going to really cover everything, but it's going to soften it maybe, hopefully a little bit. It's a very nice application, actually. Space coat has a very slight milky look, which is good. Looks like it dries pretty fast. The Dior, by the way, can be used without a base coat. It's just like a one coat product, but we use the base coat to fill the surface just a little bit. I love this stuff. It's such a good look. Okay, we're gonna now wait 2 minutes for them to dry. Okay, so this is nice and dry. Now I'm gonna use oil. Just let it drop. And by the way, when you're doing this yourself, you don't need that much oil. It's just that now it's just easier to do it that way. And the skin is dry after all the acetone and alcohol. But normally when you apply the oil at home, what I do is I just put a 1 drop here and then just kind of put it all over my fingers. So now cream. And it's beautiful natural nails. And like I mentioned in many of my videos, I recommend doing this weekly. Obviously you don't have to, you don't use electric file if you're doing your nails yourself, but just doing it with a cuticle remover, just gently pushing back the skin. Like look how perfect this looks. Like I would never cut it. Why would you cut it? When people start cutting, it starts getting thicker and then they create problem that then they have to fix.